Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome inside Talon Energy Stadium for another edition of PSP Pregame Live. I'm Peter Andrews alongside Philly Voices Kevin Kincaid. We're here for today's match between the Union and the New England Revolution. Union coming off a 120-minute loss in midweek to the New York Red Bulls, falling on penalty kicks after not failing to capitalize on a huge advantage in terms of shots. Kevin, what were your sort of general impressions from Wednesday's game?
I thought they were the better team, obviously. I think the numbers look skewed because they did play that 120 minutes, but 27 shots to 17 shots at Red Bull Arena. And the more impressive thing was that they got better as the game went along. Fafa Picault had 7 shots, 2 on target. CJ Sapong had 6, 2 on target. Each team had like 6 or 7 that were blocked. But the Picault, the 2 breakaway misses, CJ off the post, Marcus Epps, I think in the second half, had one that he just blazed over from inside the box. I mean, it was just the finishing, And even then, that carried over into the penalties,
Yeah.
Fafa missing again. I said in postgame that I thought it was a very Fabian Castillo-like performance. When we saw him at Dallas, how dangerous he was, how fast he was. He was always a threat and always able to get behind the defense. But just no end product. And that was really the first time we've seen that from Fafa this year because he's been a pretty good finisher,
Yeah, I think the few goals he's taken have all been very impressive. He's a good touch around the box, just wasn't able to convert. How tough is it that the goal they conceded in that game, we're sort of seeing why Jim Curtin doesn't trust his young players right now, as that's a Yarrow and Rosenberry making turnovers, throwing the whole back line out of shape.
I thought it was interesting because in his media availability on Friday, he said that Jack Elliott kind of gave him a tough ball, Josh Yarrow a tough ball leading up to that. And if you freeze frame right when that pass is played, there's 4 Red Bull attackers standing right around Jack Elliott. And that was something that they had success with last year. How they beat New York was that they played the ball horizontally, those blind switches as they call them, to move that clump of attackers left to right. And that's how you tire them out, and that's how you beat a press. I didn't think the pass was bad, but Yarrow's first touch kind of let him down.
Yeah.
And he gave up his back and he turned around. And then he put Keegan in a tough spot. But I guess people are saying Keegan should just let it go out of bounds, but he doesn't really know who's behind him either. So just a lot of different things, And then on the rotation, too, you could say that Derek Jones is nowhere to be found. Fabinho is nowhere to be found.
Someone's got to be kind of on the spot there.
I think your cue as the number 8 or as the left back in that case is as soon as you see your defender's got his back turned and he's playing a tough ball for the opposite side fullback, then I think you just start retreating. So it was disappointing to see him concede that way, but. Again, I thought they were the better team. So the funny thing about it is that people are running out this statistic that they still haven't lost in the. I don't know. Do you buy that a loss?
I think if you're losing in penalty kicks, that's a loss, right? Like I know that the stats are going to count it that way, but it's not like the Union have won any of the recent U.S. Open Cups. They just keep losing it up.
It was disappointing. They were the better team.
And so it's tough to go out of that competition now. It's tough. Turning our attention this week, 120 minutes in midweek. Still a lot of the same players going here tonight. Derek Jones is starting. We're seeing CJ Sapong up top again. Sapong, I feel like we touch on this every week, but not a lot of end product recently, including no goals in midweek, and yet he's being run out there again today. Your thoughts on CJ's play recently?
I think you and I, when we did the post game last week, we kind of expected that, didn't we? Where we just kind of thought that they would trust the fitness and the sports science staff to kind of roll out a lot of the same guys. I mean, there's only one.
But at what point is it's not just fitness, but it's also kind of lack of end product from some of these guys.
Yeah. I mean, we know that CJ's not a winger, and it's nice to see him and Jay Simpson play together, but you're stuck to this formation where they're not really playing together.
Right.
We haven't seen them just play 2 strikers up top, and. Even then, CJ got 6 shots off, and I don't, want to be the guy to trash him or whatever when he's out of form. But again, we've seen it happen, every single year that he's been here. So it's not really a surprise. I just think that he gets run into the ground and he just gets tired. He gets beat up. He doesn't get the calls that he should get, and so the goal scoring for him starts to go away after a while. And we said last week that CJ wasn't scoring, Pontius wasn't scoring. Ilsinho wasn't scoring,
right?
So it's
and with Fafa not finishing.
So that makes you wonder where it's going to come from if if 3 of the front 4 can't really get a shot on goal and the other guy has 7 and he can't score. So you hope it doesn't carry over tonight.
So then the last thing I want to touch on about the midweek game, Jim Curtin said Roland Alberg had his best game in a Union uniform. He did get the goal that sent the game in extra time. He's not playing today after 120 minutes in midweek. Your thoughts, A, on Alberg's performance, and B, what we should be looking for at the number 10 in these next couple games?
I think his best performance in a Union shirt was a hat trick.
Yeah.
That he scored last year, right?
He should have had 4 in that game.
Yeah. But, I mean, beyond that, he's just more of a goal-scoring threat than Ilsinho is. And you can say that they both kind of have the same work rate. They put the same effort forth. And Ilsinho, I think, has had enough time in there to prove something to the fan base. I don't think he has. So for all that anybody ever wants to say about Roland being lazy or being fat or being out of shape or not being the guy or whatever, it's not like anybody else has taken that position and run with it.
Right.
You know, and Roland has shown that he's a volume goal scorer, that he's a better finisher than any of the other guys who they've played in that spot before. So, you know, if you come out tonight, you see another lackluster performance from Ilsinho, then there's no reason why Roland shouldn't be on the field, because who else are you going to – you've already tried 3 other people there, you know? You going to try to put Fabian there maybe? No. I don't know. You know.
I mean, part of the problem is they don't have a true number 10 on the roster, and as we get into the summer transfer window, that'll be part of the solution. Now, in terms of transfers who have fought their way into today's starting lineup, it's the second week in a row that we've seen Ileana Wijnaldum coming in for Fabinho on the left wing. Fabinho did play in midweek. Are we thinking that this is a permanent change from Jim Curtin, or do you think he's just trying something new?
No, I guess it is permanent, you know. It was strange because we were sitting here last week and Fabinho had a wrap on his right hand with ice on it. And then afterwards, in the post-game press conference, Jim said that Fabinho wasn't injured. But I guess you and I your idea was that that injury was not mutually exclusive to him losing his starting job, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
a left back should be able to play with a hand
with
split.
a bit, yeah. So I mean, I guess that's what it is, yeah. And then the only other change is Derek Jones. But yeah, I mean, Fabinho, like we said, is in the last year of his contract. Ileana Wijnaldum's 24 years old. He was a foreign signing. So if not now, when? You know. Right. And sorry, I was fumbling around here because the Revs put out one of those video lineups where you can't see a damn thing on here unless you actually pause.
Video, as we all know, the way of the future, guys.
Yeah. So they got Teal Bunbury playing up top.
The Cody Cropper starting in goal?
Yeah, because they're missing Kellen Rowe and Juan Agudelo.
And then Diego Fagundes also suspended.
Yeah.
So it's between national team duty and suspension. It's a shorthanded Revs team. You know, it's always dangerous to say this. The Union should be the favorite in this game. Playing at home against a shorthanded team, they need these 3 points. Yeah,
I mean, if you were to tell me that, losing Bedoya versus losing Rowe, Fagundes, and Agudelo, I mean, surely that's in the Union. The Union get the better side of that, and Andre's still here before leaving. So, but now New England's going to run out Bunbury, Kamara, Lee Wynn, Watson, Caldwell, Kofi, Farrell, Angua, Smith, and Cropper. So yeah, I mean they're down, and both of their center backs are kind of injured too, banged up. Delamea is on the bench too. So, I mean, game 3 of a 3-game homestand. If they get 6 out of 9 from the homestand, I think everybody would have said that was pretty reasonable,
Well, it's a big opportunity for the Union today. Before we wrap up, your thoughts on prediction?
I don't know. I think Philly wins it. I don't know if, hopefully it's not Andre having to stand on his head again, but this Revs team is depleted. They're missing 3 of their best players. And they need the points too because this is the halfway mark. This is game 17.
Is it really?
Yeah, so I just don't – I don't know down the stretch where the points are going to come from. You have a 3-game road trip coming up at KC, at Montreal, at Columbus. Then later this year you have at San Jose, at Toronto, at Red Bull, at Atlanta, at Chicago, at Chicago. So this is where it is. This is where the points are. So I think they just got to come out and continue with the defensive stuff that they were doing last week and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, so the game at 5. Make sure that, I checked, there's nothing on the hashtag AskPSP. We want to make sure you get your questions in. This is a regular feature we got here on the pregame and postgame shows. So we will be back after the match down at field level to do the postgame show. You can tune into the matches at 5 p.m. on Fox Sports 1 today. Your Philadelphia Union versus the New England Revolution. Thanks for watching. For Kevin Kincaid, I'm Peter Andrews. Enjoy the match.